Howdy folks, it's Turtle here and welcome back to Microsoft Flight Simulator, and today we're going to do a fun little IFR flight in a small little plane. I guess it's not that small. I wanted to fly this plane again, the Beechcraft D18, sorry, because I had so much fun last time and I forgot how much I love this plane, even with its little quirks and challenges. But then I also wanted to do an IFR flight because it's been a while since we've done an IFR flight. And I don't have to do every IFR flight in the Jetstar, right? I can use other planes. So we're going to use a smaller airplane for an IFR flight, which I don't do very often, which maybe I should do more often, because then we can do IFR, which is fun, but then we can also see stuff, which is fun. So combining both of those worlds, I will admit this is my second time trying to record this flight. The first time I was interrupted by my family, and now that I had to abandon the flight. But I learned a lot of things in those few couple minutes, which we'll talk about once we get in the airplane. And I'm just looking around. We're in Seville, Spain, and we're going to head south to Gibraltar. I can't say the word. I see it in print all the time. You know, the rock of Gibraltar. Gibraltar. I can't say it. I've never said it out loud, I don't think, ever. But anyway, you'll know it. You'll recognize it. It has a really cool approach, at least when you watch YouTube videos, and a really cool rock, which I assume is modeled custom for the sim, but we'll find out. Roller weather's turned on. Severe thunderstorms between Seville and Gibraltar. So we might have to clear up the weather. You can look at the windsock. It's pretty strong. Not sure if you'd actually want to fly this plane in this weather, but we will be finding out very soon if we have to clean up the weather or not. Real world traffic is turned on, but not player traffic. And that's about it. My practice flight, or not my practice flight, the flight I tried to record was back in Italy. I chose a new spot, but everything else is the same as what I wanted to do with you. 48 minutes wheels uptime. So cute little IFR thing, cute little plane. Hopefully we can take off and land better than last time. But anyway, just enjoying the sights and scenery before we get started. So without further ado, let's hop inside. First thing we have to do is set up a few things up here. First, we'll make sure that parking brake is set, which we would have done long before we opened the doors. I have my headphones on today. Going to give that another shot because editing is just too difficult without headphones on. And I would like to hear my sound better than I have been. So we're going to do fueling passengers. We're going to take myself. We're going to take my wife, and I have no idea my wife's weight, so no judging from anybody. We'll take her new best friend, or newer best friend, and we'll take my kid, who isn't really a kid anymore. He's an adult now, pretty much. And then we'll take his younger brother, who also isn't really younger anymore, other than in numbers of age. But my kids are getting old, man. When I started flight sim, they were babies. I mean, I've been doing flight sim for like 30 years, but recording on YouTube, my kids are babies, and now they're like adults. It's crazy. All right, who else are we gonna bring? Let's bring my older kid's ex-girlfriend. I don't know why. Maybe we're gonna leave her somewhere. Leave her in Spain. And let's bring my other kid's best friend. And then we'll bring some waters and an overnight bag so we can leave some people behind. Yep. Okay. You can make up the story any way you want to. Alright, let's see here. We're going to come back here. We're going to close the door because we cannot fly with the door open. As much fun and tempting as that would be. The trays are in their closed positions. Let's shut the windows too. It's going to get rainy in here. We did have raindrops when I started recording, but they're gone. Interesting. Alrighty, so what are we going to do next? Fuel selectors confirm on. Yes, they are. And mixture rich. Yes, that is loud with headphones on. Ooh, propped forward, throttle cracked. Left battery, which we have to use this view to get to, I believe. Yes, we do. Left generator. And turn the primer to the left so it's actually up. There we go. Prime 5 times. There's 3, 4, and 5. And starter to the left. Come on. Oh no. Thank you. Oh yeah, this thing keeps moving on around on me. Whatever. Started to the left. There it is. Left makes on. There we go. And come over here. We do fuel boost. And then we do starter. And we look over here and turn down my own volume because I'm starting to yell. It's so loud but so nice. There we go. And repeat for the right engine. So we're going to come over here. Right generator, right battery. Come down here to prime, I think. Come on. Twice. Twice. Where's my little icon? There it is. Prime it 5 times. 3, 4, and 5. Well, there we go. Come over here. Should have probably moved the starter to the right first. Did the MAGs. Then we do the boost again. A couple times. Starter. Which usually have to do twice. Because I don't think anything happened. And now, see, it works the second time every time. Not sure why it does that. Start in the middle. And close the red cover. There we go. Now we need to turn some lights on. We should probably turn the beacon on before we start the airplane, right? Let's see what else we need to do. Beacon avionics master can come on. There we go. Flight plan radios. Flight plan is pretty simple. So I just did a quick flight setup in the flight planning screen. We do know how to fly IFR using these radios, the DME and the nav and everything. We know how to do that. But since the GPS is in here, we might as well use it. We're just going to fly kind of straight south to the rock. Seville to the rock. Pretty easy peasy. Couple things to say. A couple things I learned. One, when we call for IFR clearance, it says you got 30 minutes to depart or whatever. Well, when I did my flight that I had to scrap, I had to step away for 45 minutes, and when I came back, they canceled my IFR. Just like real life, you got 30 minutes, and it took me 45 in the sim, so they canceled me, which I thought was kind of rude, but makes sense, I guess. The other thing I learned is while I use autopilot on my Logitech multi-panel, not sponsored, I just like talking about it. Remember, the multi-panel does work in the sim. The switch panel does not work. I mean, it works 1% of the time. So, switch panel, garbage, doesn't work. Multi-panel, perfectly fine. However, in this plane, you know, this has an older style autopilot. Part of it's here, part of it's over here. My multi-panel autopilot works for everything except when I try to use nav on my multi-panel to get the autopilot to follow the flight plan, it doesn't work. So we're going to have to come down here and use these, which I do know how to use. However, during the flight that I scrapped, I feel like these things here conflicted with my multi-panel. So, because I could not get it to follow this flight path no matter what I did. So I have to play with this a little bit between the in-pilot autopilot and my multi-panel on the autopilot. Something's not right. So we'll get it to work. If we have to use heading bug just to follow the path, we will, because heading bug does work on my multi-panel. However, that's not realistic to do it that way. So, well, I guess if you didn't have, well, no, because this would follow nav, but this nav would follow these navs, right? We wanted to follow this nav. So that could have been part of the problem too, but then there's usually a switch then that tells you which nav to follow when you have this kind of autopilot. At least there was in the X-plane airplanes. You'd flip a little switch here, and nav would either be this or this. So maybe that's the problem. I don't see it anywhere else, but we'll figure it out. So that's one of the biggest things I learned, was using autopilot. The other thing I learned, besides autopilot and the IFR clearance, is that this airplane is very, very sensitive to mixture once you get to a certain altitude, which is realistic, but even more sensitive than any other plane. So I had my climb set with autopilot, stepped away, came back, was doing something else, and then my plane stalled because it ran out of power, because they never pulled back mixture at like 7,000 feet, and it crashed. So yeah, anyway, those were the biggest things I've learned. So there you go. All right, we're almost 10 minutes in. It is time to keep going. So I told you the flight plan, I told you the things I learned, I told you the things you have to watch out for, and now it is time to call for IFR clearance. So I think we'll tune approach and request clearance.
Approach Turtle Soup Tango 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 41 IFR to Gibraltar, ready to copy.
Turtle Soup Tango 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 41 is cleared to Gibraltar Airport as filed. Climb and maintain 7,000 feet. Departure frequency is 118.275 squawk 0746. Clearance void 30 minutes from now.
Turtle Soup Tango 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 41 cleared to Gibraltar Airport as filed. Climb and maintain 7,000 feet. Departure is 118.275 squawk 0746. Clearance void 30 minutes from now.
Turtle Soup Tango 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 41 read that correct. Good day.
Alright, so the ATC said Gibraltar correctly, even better than I can. I always want to add an L, that's my problem. So, we'll come back to that in a second. Maintain 7,000 feet. I set my autopilot on the multi-panel to 7,000 feet. You can't see that here. You would just hit Alt and then pitch up or down on this thing, but I set it to 7,000. That will hold, I think. Maybe not, we'll find out. And what else? We will set heading bug in case it doesn't work. So actually track 166. Ooh, 10 degrees off. Well, we'll see with the wind which one we want to do. So we'll set heading bug to 166 for now. That way if autopilot doesn't work, we can just hit heading bug and follow that. We know where to go. We used to do that type of stuff in X-Plane all the time. We're a lot more cautious about these little details. But I haven't been lately. I don't know why. So anyway, yeah, you want to set your heading bug in case autopilot gets screwed up. Maybe autopilot will follow heading bug, or you can see your heading bug and immediately know where you're supposed to go with IFR, right? So now we know where we're supposed to go based on track here. Although because of the wind adjustments, tracking versus heading are two different things. Remember, tracking is where you're going, heading is where you're facing. You might be facing one way but tracking another because of wind. We've talked about that many times before on this channel. We'll bring it up again if we need to. We don't have an ATIS, so we're going to be in for the barometer. Because we don't have an ATIS, I could get the weather by paying attention on the planning screen, which I forget to do. Or if you want to go outside of the sim, there's many weather resources. Or you can go up to weather here and pick a closer weather station, whatever. Many ways to do it. We're just going to be on the barometer for today's sake. Alrighty, what else do we need to do? There are no taxi lights, so we're just going to come over here and turn on the seatbelt sign. And that is basically it. We've flown for 7.5 hours already. I was going to say something else during the readback, but I forgot what it was. Can't remember, but whatever. I think we're good to go. So let's announce taxi and we'll get out of here.
Lima Echo 85 traffic Turtle Soup Tango 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 41 is taxiing to runway 18.
Alright, that means facing 180 degrees, which is the way we're facing now. But we need a back taxi because there's not enough space to take off there. So let's go over there. I don't think we need a back taxi the whole thing, but because we need a back taxi, that means we need to enter the runway. So we do need to turn our lights on a little early. I'll turn pitot heat on too while we're at it. Alrighty, let's hop back here and put our yoke back in. I don't know why it went away from us. There's a click spot right there. Okie dokie, let's... Oh, no flaps by the way. Let me take off on this thing. So let's do our favorite taxi view and head on over to the start of runway 18. And this is suggesting a grass taxi, but since there's no other traffic on the radio, we're just going to get back onto the runway here where it's safer. In Flight Sim 2024 there could be rocks in the ground, but there are not in this sim. So we'll see how the sim operates today. If you remember a month ago, I said ever since updating to Windows 11 the sim was so much better. But the last video there were some issues, and when I did my flight that I scrapped I was having some issues because the sim did do an update, a small one, and Windows has updated a few times and things were starting to act wonky. But today so far so good. So maybe it's just a one-time thing. I don't know. But anyway, this plane is very challenging to take off. You need your trim way back. I cannot find the trim indicator in the plane, so I never get it back far enough. And landing is a challenge, as we discussed in the previous video, but I used to be able to do it, but for some reason I screwed up last time. But I'm determined to get a good landing and a good takeoff today. We'll do our best. But otherwise, so far so good. Every time I start this plane and get into it and fly it, I realize how much I love this plane. It's the only payware aircraft that I have, that I paid for. The other payware aircraft I have are the big Radios aircraft, which were gifted to me, which I do disclose when I fly those airplanes. But for payware that I paid myself, this is the only one. Alright, let's turn around here and take off. Alright, those are some ominous looking clouds. Hopefully we're still within the 30-minute time limit. Whoa, that was crazy for the clearance, because I did have to step away for a couple minutes. You should be good. Alright, so here we go. Carb cold, which always is now. Do not lock tail wheel in this airplane in the sim. Cowl flaps open, they already are. No flaps. Trim back. So you have to set your trim way back, or else it nosedives as soon as you take off. I don't find a trim indicator in here anywhere, so I never know what my trim is actually set to. I just keep dialing it back on my multi-banner for a while. I'm sure there's a trim indicator somewhere. I just don't know where it is. I don't even see a trim thing spinning. Oh, there's electric trim. Okay. But I don't see an indicator. So we'll just keep going back and back and back and back and back until I feel like stopping. So let's stop like that. Okay, so what else? Landing lights on already did. Nav lights flashing already did. Pitot heat on already did. Note the time on the clock. What is it? Like 9:42 or something? Okie dokie. I think that's it. Takeoff speed 75 to 80 knots. That's the red line or so. And remember to do gear up, because in my flight that I scrapped, I forgot to lift gear for like most of it. So here we go. Let's see, this thing is tricky to take off, but I love it. I like a slight challenge. Not too much of a challenge, just a slight challenge. Come on. Oh my, oh, this wind. Oh dear. It's so windy. Okay, that'll explain why we had a stall horn. Oh my gosh. Okay, I have full left rudder and we're still going to the right. Hey, look at that. Other than the wind, that was an amazing takeoff. Look at that. My trim still could come back even more though. Just a little. So, it's so windy that even though we were still on the ground... Oh, I didn't announce takeoff. Whoops. Even though we were still on the ground, it's so windy that the instruments registered... Oh gosh, don't do that. The instruments registered as a stall. That was insane. Let's tune in center, then we'll keep talking.
Madrid Center Turtle Soup Tango 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 41 is passing 800 feet, climbing 7,000 feet.
Turtle Soup Tango 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 41 Madrid Center altimeter 29.77 radar contact continue.
And not sure why we're turning so much. Holy cow. So, what I just did, which you can't see, and boy, gear up. See, forgot to do gear up again because I panicked a little bit. So what am I doing? I am getting autopilot set up. I hit autopilot, set vertical speed to, what was it, 1,600, 1,100 feet per minute, which it's doing. And I tuned in heading bug for now, based on what it told me to here. Let's do 156 actually, so 156. There we go. So that'll follow this a little bit. Well, we're parallel to it right now, but we'll follow it like that. What we could do is follow it on here manually using heading bug, but I want to use nav on my autopilot, which we will figure out in a minute. First of all, I want to enjoy the sights, and let's actually go a little more steeply here. Let's do 1,700 feet per minute climb, and let's enjoy the sights a minute, and then we'll figure out this autopilot situation following nav, because it follows heading bug perfectly fine, it follows my climb and my altitude perfectly fine, but I want to do more than that. I want it to follow nav. So there's Seville there and back here. Pretty cool, huh? Never thought I'd fly over Seville in the sim. And then the ocean is over there somewhere. Lovely storms. Taking some screenshots here for potential thumbnails. Beautiful. Okay, so we could leave it like this and just do whatever we want. And we could use heading bug, which I'm going to show you that right now. So heading, let's turn to the right, and we're just going to stare at this. Actually, can I see it if I'm over here? Yeah, I can see instruments too. So we're going to stare at this and use heading bug to follow GPS that way. But then I want to see if we can get it to follow nav on its own, just because of wind and everything, right? So we're going to keep an eye on that right there. When this little line gets to the center, we'll straighten out, and we'll go back to, 156 or so.
Turtle Soup Tango 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 41, you are 73 miles northwest. Maintain present heading and altitude. Expect vectors visual runway 27 approach.
Maintain present heading and altitude. Expect vectors visual runway 27 approach. Turtle Soup Tango 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 41.
Okay, we already have our approach, which is just visual, no instrument approach, which is fine. I was hoping there would be, a procedure, because then we could click on procedure, and we'd have to practice this, because it's been a bazillion years since I've done this in this GPS, but I guess we're not going to need to do that today. You already remember VNav, which doesn't actually work in this airplane for some reason, but before we talk about that, let's start to straighten out slowly, because we're starting to get closer here. VNav, we use it in X-Plane all the time. You would click on VNav, put in your altitude you want at the distance you want from your destination, and it would calculate top of descent, and it would start descending the plane for you, or else very least it would tell you when to descend. It was so cool, but it's not working in this airplane, so I guess we don't need to deal with that either, although that would have been fun. Let's enjoy these clouds a second, although we might miss our our path. This is amazing, and the sim is working beautifully, which is great, because like I said, the flight that I had to scrap, it was not working beautifully. So this is very nice. Alright, let's get back on track here. Let's avoid the storm a little bit. Well, we better get going then if we want to practice using nav with this autopilot. Because if I hit nav on my autopilot, what's it going to do? Nothing. Nothing has happened if I hit nav on my autopilot. Okay? So that's probably because it's trying to pick this up and there's not anything happening. We want to pick this up. What if I hit nav on this one? What's it going to do? Nothing. Okay. So, how do I get it to pick up this nav? Because right now, if I were to put in something here, I'm sure nav would be following this. So what if I take off heading on my autopilot? Nothing. So, like I said, I'm used to seeing like a little switch here, and that would go between the two different nav sources. But I don't see that switch. What if we do Omni? Sometimes Omni might do it. Will that do anything? Nope. I mean, it turned off heading here, which is correct. Okay, so I guess if I want to use... Well, let's do heading bug again. And we'll just do it manually. So I guess if I want to use this... Oh, wait. Maybe it's this? Let's try something. Let's go to nav. And let's hit this. That's not doing anything. Okay, never mind. I was thinking maybe this would do something. Never mind. Alright, let's put that back. Whoops. My mixture messed up. Let's hit heading on my autopilot. And as this gets closer, we'll just move it back to 156 or so on my multi-panel. And we'll just follow that line manually and account for the wind. So even though it's 156, we're not going to stay at 156 because of the wind. So we will keep an eye on that and not worry about this, I guess. And I need to figure out if there's any way to tie nav on the autopilot to this nav source, or maybe we'll just have to do some slant alpha and go VOR to VOR. That would be amazing. And then we could do it that way. I don't know. Alright, well, that's fine. Not a big deal. I was just really hoping we could tie those two together. And see, the wind is blowing us. It's blowing us back. Yeah, we're pointing 165 degrees, even though this is 156. And we're still getting blown. Because 165 is this way, 156 is that way, and it's still blowing us across. Holy cow. That's crazy. Alrighty, anyway. Oh, we're at altitude. I didn't even have to do any mixture this time or anything. Oh, well, that makes things simple. What if I bring back mixture a little bit? Yeah, it starts to stall out. Okay, that's fine. That's fine, we're not high enough to worry about it. Okie dokie. Well, altitude holds. That's good to know. And we're still getting blown. Look at that. Look how far we're getting blown off course. So let's go even more to the right. Holy cow. Alrighty. It says we're 20 minutes out. I guess that's probably true. Let's have some good views outside. And we will see what it looks like. I never did go over a cruise checklist, so wasn't much to say. Anti-ice if we need it, which we don't. Windshield wipers, which we don't need. Monitor things. Autopilot available, which we just spent most of our time doing. Change fuel tanks as needed. We won't need to worry about it on this flight. And then next will be approach, which we got our approach clearance already. But it doesn't matter. So there you go. Beautiful scenery. You can take the trays out if you want to. Both sides have a tray, but you do not want them out during takeoff and landing. Alright, let's see. Do we have time for sightseeing, or do we have to... Oh, see, now we passed, so let's go back to the left a little bit. We'll go towards 156. Let's do 167 degrees. Because I was at 171, still getting blown across, so we'll still get blown across. Let's keep an eye on it. Let's see, this is fuel flow. The fuel tanks in here, I can't remember where they are, and I don't think they work anyway. I think I remember reading that the fuel tanks don't even work, so it doesn't matter. You can never find the fuel tanks in this thing. Oh, here's the elevator trim. Is that what this is? I think that might be it. Well, next time I take off in this plane, I'll have to mess with that and see if that's our trim. Maybe. Maybe it is. Let's see here. I don't see anything about fuel here. Yeah, I don't see anything about fuel here. We've got some information here. Nothing about fuel here. I don't see anything about fuel there. We see anything about fuel here. I mean, that could be it. If that's our fuel, it's always empty in this airplane, so that's probably why people say it doesn't actually work. Because it's always there no matter what. Because we have plenty of fuel. What are we at? Just at 44%. So, whatever. That's the only indication of fuel I see in this airplane. And it doesn't even work. So, that's weird. I mean, we got our fuel tanks down there. This is your high beam switch. Those of you around my age know exactly what I'm talking about. Anyway, there's our rock up there, up behind the clouds. But we're getting close. 17 minutes away. Yeah, see, we're at 167 degrees and it's getting us closer and closer. So let's move to like 164 degrees and see if we can get right on that line. So it's kind of annoying to have to manually navigate this when I'd like to use autopilot fully for IFR, but we are in the 200-year-old aircraft. So if we had to do slant alpha, we'd have to do it manually anyway. Alright, enough yip-yapping. I just wanted to talk about everything I could fit in, so I don't think any of my talking was unnecessary this time, which might be a bummer for some of you, because I know a lot of you like when I yip-yap. But anyway, we're just heading across Spain. We are going to do sightseeing for a moment, and then we'll come back and keep an eye on this thing, and we'll yeah, we'll talk a second. Maybe, I mean, it's possible this is fuel level, but I thought that was fuel flow. Pounds per square inch, right? If I were to raise this up, I don't think that's going to go up. It's going to screw up our airplane a little bit though, but that's okay. Did that change? I didn't notice it change. Change over here? I didn't notice it change. So, yeah, I don't think there's any fuel indication in here. But I am curious if that's actually the trim indicator, if that works, if that's what I think it is. Otherwise, 16 minutes out. Well, see, look at, we're over our thing already. See, so we gotta go back to like 67 degrees just to stay on target. Okay, yeah, I don't think I said anything unnecessary, even though I talked the whole time. So let's get some sightseeing in, and then we'll get ready for our approach. Alright, it says we're 12 minutes out, which is pretty close. I keep adjusting for wind, but I still haven't been able to dial it in perfectly, but everything seems to be okay. Yeah, so learned a lot in this flight already in this very short amount of time. Learned a lot in my flight that I scrapped. The only downside to this airplane is that it's a low-wing aircraft, so it's hard to sightsee, but good enough, right? We're still able to see a little bit. Of course, we have the outside chase cam, which isn't too far-fetched from real life. A lot of YouTube pilots, if not all YouTube pilots, are using 360 cameras mounted on their airplanes. So it looks like this in a lot of ways. Even on YouTube, you got the wing version, you got mounts on the tail. Pretty crazy what they can do with technology and AI. And they say AI because AI processes the 360 video. It's not making up video, which some people think. Just a little tangent here. I've been watching YouTube pilots, real life pilots, dealing with ignorance in comments about how they hear that 360 cameras use AI, so they're like, your video's not real, it's AI. It means it's processed by AI, which has been around for like 20 years in one form or another. It's just now reaching the forefront. So it's interesting. I like watching what people do with those cameras and stuff. A lot of computing power, a lot of rendering time, a lot of editing time. But it can be done now. So yeah, you can have a real life airplane, real life video looking like this. Pretty darn cool. But anyway, southern Spain, heading towards Gibraltar, which is a British colony, by the way. But yeah, interesting. And of course, it's a lot of you here for story time. I personally don't have any stories about Spain because I've never been to Spain. I've never been anywhere but Canada and Cancun, which to me Cancun doesn't count. It's just an extension of like Americanized culture with an ocean. But anyway, no, I've never been to Spain. My wife has been to Spain a couple times, I think. Once during her years in grad school, when actually before grad school, I think, when her naivety saved her. She was running around Spain at like 2 in the morning, being all crazy, doing crazy things, and ended up hitching rides with people on motorcycles in Spain at 2 a.m. She didn't speak Spanish, they didn't speak English, but they hung out for a while. And then they had to run away because they realized that the guys had other things in mind, obviously, with the whole cliche back then of how American women are easy women. I don't know if that's still true, but it used to be. I mean, a lot of reasons for that stereotype. But these guys thought my wife was part of that culture, which she wasn't. So she and her friend literally ran away. They literally jumped off motorcycles at like an intersection and ran away. At like 2 in the morning, they got lost. They ended up at a hostel randomly for the rest of the night, and then they found their hotel or other hostel where they were supposed to be, which had all their stuff in it, the next day. But hey, my wife had a lot of fun before she met me, and then she settled down, as they say. But anyway, so that's her Spain story. I personally don't have a Spain story, although I do follow this Spanish pianist who I discovered through Formula One. All of her posts are in Spanish. I read some Spanish, not as much as I used to. But she's a very, very interesting person because she's very... well, she doesn't just post about her piano music. Like, even though it's her account, maybe 1 out of 10 posts are about her piano music. The rest are about just like vacations she's doing and stuff. So it's really cool.
Contact Rhoda approach on 123.3. Good day.
123.3 Turtle Soup Tango 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 41. Goodbye. Rhoda approach Turtle Soup Tango 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 417,000 feet.
Turtle Soup Tango 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 41 Rhoda approach altimeter 29.86 radar contact. Continue.
Alright, so anyway, the pianist's name, her name is Laura Andres, not Andres. Maybe it is Andres. It's either Andres or Andres. I think it's Andres. Anyway, she did national anthem for Spain, Formula One a couple years ago. Been following her ever since. And even though I don't speak Spanish, and I don't even bother translating her posts, I can understand everything that's going on. Like I said, 1 post will be about her music, and then 10 more will be about like her beach trips and other things she's doing. So very interesting. Yeah. Anyway, pretty cool. Alrighty, so we're 6.5 minutes out. We have to descend at some point. I don't know if they're going to tell us to descend or not, or do we have to figure that out ourselves? They did say visual approach. Although with all this crazy weather, I don't really know how we're going to do a visual approach, but we'll figure it out when we get there, I guess. We often wing it in the sim anyway when I fly, so nothing unusual there. Let's have a final look around before we have to fly and land the plane. And as I said in the previous video, remember, you fly the plane until it's turned off and shocked. Because I have an issue of being like, hey, we landed, and then we crash after we land, like last time, especially in this airplane. When it's super sensitive to landing, it can be done, because I used to have it down perfectly for many months. Then I hadn't flown in a while. Anyway, I'm very glad we did not have to clear up the weather. Because when I first saw the storms, I thought we'd have to, but we didn't. So anyway, alrighty, more yip yapping. There's a rock in front of us. It's starting to render in. Very cool. Okay, approach checklist weather, which we kind of don't have. And then fuel tank fullest. I haven't touched them. Flaps down when appropriate, gear down when appropriate. Tail wheel unlocked. Approach speed. See, there's the rock right there. So that puts the airport right there, kind of at an angle. Approach speed 100 knots, which is the green tick. Landing speed 80 knots, which is the red tick. So approach, touchdown. In this plane, you do not land at idle. Normally you would in a prop. But in this plane, the way it's modeled or coded, it doesn't work if you land at idle. It'll crash. It'll bounce and crash and stuff. So you have to have a little bit of throttle. And other people who have heard me say that thought I was crazy at first, and they did it themselves and learned that I was right. And I learned that by somebody else. So I don't take credit for discovering that. But, do not land at idle. So, anyway. But yeah. Okay, so we should be able to do it. Like I said, we've done it many, many times before, even though the last time was not good. So do we want to start descending? I think we want to start descending. I'm just afraid if we start descending, they're going to yell at us for not holding our altitude. Because that'll happen. They'll be like, you are supposed to be at your assigned altitude, even though we're getting really close. Let's come down to 4,000 feet. Or so. Let's come down to 3,000 feet. Let's just do it slowly. So on my multi-panel, I set 3,000 feet. Vertical speed, we're going to come down 500 feet per minute. Bring back throttle so we don't go too fast. And the slower we go horizontally, we buy us more time, right? If we were to descend at 5,000 feet full throttle, we might get to the airport too soon. If we descend 500 feet per minute with slower speed, we will get there to that altitude earlier, right? Kind of common sense stuff, but stuff you might not actually think about. Let's use heading bug to get more on track here. And yep. Oh, see.
Climb and maintain 7,000 feet, altimeter 29.86.
Climb and maintain 7,000 feet. Turtle Soup Tango 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 41.
But we're too close for 7,000 feet to be comfortable. So we're going to cancel IFR.
Rhoda approach Turtle Soup Tango 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 41. Cancel IFR at this time.
Turtle Soup Tango 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 41 IFR flight plan is canceled. Radar service terminated. Squawk 7000. Maintain VFR. Frequency change approved. Good day.
So let's put in our airport. And let's tune in tower and let's request a full stop landing.
Gibraltar Tower Turtle Soup Tango 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 417 miles north 6,400 feet to land.
Turtle Soup Tango 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 41 Gibraltar Tower. Altimeter 29.86, wind 240 at 12. Enter left downwind runway 27.
Make left traffic runway 27 Turtle Soup Tango 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 41.
Left traffic? Are you sure about that? First of all, runway 27 is going to be the W, right? 270 degrees. So we're going to be here going that way. So that means we want to go over here and go this way. But left traffic means you make left turns. So they want us to go this way, turn left, but there's a big rock in the way. So are we supposed to like fly around the rock? I guess we are. Okay, well, we're VFR now and we can't see anything because of IMC. So in real life, you would not have canceled IFR that quickly, obviously. It's just 7,000 feet is way too high, given how close we're getting. So we are just going to, you know, cancel IFR like we did. And we have our approach they want us to use. So I guess we'll do left traffic and go around the rock. I guess that sounds kind of fun. What is our altitude right now? We're at 5,000 feet. Let's soften our descent now that we're going to go around the rock. Let's do 500 feet per minute. I did go down to 900. Let's go back to 500. We are in the clouds. This is very dangerous. You would not do this in real life. You would not do VFR in the clouds. No. This is still IFR conditions. But I canceled it because I didn't like our altitude they gave us. I should not have canceled it. But then we'd have to nosedive at the end. So, whatever. We'll see what happens. Hopefully we don't hit that rock. We will see. Because they want us to do left traffic pattern, let's do heading bug and let's start doing our left traffic patterns. We're going to turn right to go left. Because as you can tell, there's a rock in front of us. See, runway 27 is here, but they want left traffic. So we have to come from here. So we have to go left turns to get here to come in. So that's what we're going to do. That's what we're going to do. I can't see crap. Well, whatever. There's the rock right there. See, there's runway 27 right here, see? So we're going to go around the rock, do left traffic. Beautiful sight. They did a good job. This is definitely a POI right now, so they did customize to make sure it looked good. Look at these skyscrapers, and the rock is so much taller than that. What a beautiful shot. We're going to enjoy this in a minute here while we do our left traffic pattern. But you can see we're still way too high. Even, you know what I mean? And I've been going against their instructions and we're still way too high. So, yeah, I'm glad it broke away even though it was dangerous. That's so cool. Wow, that is awesome. I didn't expect this to look good, but it does. It looks amazing. Look at that cruise ship. That's so cool. Swimming pools. Alrighty, well let's fly the plane here. Because what are we doing? We're descending. What are we descending at? 500 feet per minute. Let's bring it down to 700 feet per minute. Bring back the throttles a little bit. Even though it's sped up. And heading bug. Let's do left traffic. So we want to do opposite 27. Right? Actually, we'll just do across one leg here. So we'll do 90 degrees off 27. So that's our orientation for the runway. We're flying away like this. And, oh, we're at altitude already. Okay, well, let's bring this down to 1500 or so. And vertical speed. We'll do 700 still. Keep an eye on everything here. And now we're far enough away. We're going to do heading bug to 90 degrees, which will put us parallel to the runway, which we'll see in just a moment here. And we'll go down to 1500 feet above sea level. That way we can see the runway. So it's working out perfectly. Look at that. Isn't that awesome? So since it's a visual approach, I am not sure if we would have canceled IFR anyway, if we would have kept IFR the whole time. I don't know, whatever. Yes.
Clear to land runway 27 Turtle Soup Tango 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 41.
There's our rock. Isn't that amazing? That's beautiful. So we'll give ourselves a little bit of space because the runway is right there. And then we'll have enough space to land because we are still descending a little bit. Look at this beautiful storm over the water. Oh my gosh, that's so cool. Alrighty, here we go. We want to turn to 360 degrees or so, or 0 degrees or whatever you want to say. And then we'll be perpendicular to the runway. Which is what we want. What's your altitude right now? We're still at 2,000 feet. I think we're good though. We're going to be totally fine. Totally fine. Oh, that's so beautiful. Wow, I'm impressed. I thought the modeling was going to be terrible. Alright, bring back throttles to slow down a little bit. We'll do gear in just a minute. And flaps. I think there are 3 levels of flaps in this thing. And let's see, we will turn to 27 degrees in just a minute. It says we're too high, but we're still coming down. Alrighty, here we go. We're still using autopilot. You can use localizer if we had it tuned in. So here we go, gear down. Now we just need to be ready for the flaps and to kill autopilot because we might be turning a little early yet. We'll see. Without peripheral vision is really difficult. Nope, look at that. Turtle knows what he's doing. Alrighty, because we are a little bit high, we're going to do first set of flaps, and autopilot is off. And this is our approach speed right here. So let's keep the throttles going. Actually, nose down, right? Nose down for speed. Throttles for pitch. I haven't said those words in a long time. So yeah, if you want to go faster, you nose down. But if you don't want to descend, then you increase throttles to keep your altitude or pitch or attitude. But then you get to speed up. So they work together. Alrighty, let's descend. So we're going to bring throttles back to descend. We're not going to nose down to descend. Nose down will speed us up. But throttles back will help us descend. The second set of flaps, although we are outside of the arc. Wow, look how beautiful that is. That's insane. And the city over here, crazy. Look at these skyscrapers. They're like 50-story skyscrapers, and they're only a quarter of the way up the rock. That's nuts. Alright, we'll do full flop in a minute. So again, it's a tail dragger, so probably not a tricycle landing in this. I mean, some people do. Some people land on the tail wheel. Just depends on what you're doing. Bush flying maybe, but not in this. We'll land on the main gear, gently but firmly. Yeah, we'll see. Full flap now. Keep our approach speed though, so keep nosing down to keep that approach speed at 100. And here we go. There we go. Whoops. Wow, this wind is so insane. So insane crossing from the left. So left wing down, right rudder. When the time comes, left main, right main. Then tail wheel. Holy cow. So I'm crabbing already. Already have full right rudder. And look at this. We want left wing down, not right. Oh my gosh. This is okay. If we don't crash, this can be a miracle because this wind is ridiculous. Our throttle's about a quarter engaged. And oh my gosh, let it float because of the, oh my gosh, they did it. Okay, one bounce, which is acceptable even in real life. I know. Okay, 2 bounces, maybe not so good. But at least we're not crashing yet. I still have full right rudder. Oh boy. Okay, we're gonna ground loop because this wind is insane. Oh my gosh. Oh, hang on a second.
Going to 1 tree 1.2 turtle soup tango 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 41. Gibraltar ground turtle soup tango 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 41 taxi to parking.
Turtle soup tango 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 41 taxi to general aviation parking.
Taxiing to general aviation parking turtle soup tango 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 41.
Okay, so what I didn't talk or speak about because I was handling the radio was that was insane. That was one of the most difficult tail dragger landings I've had in my life, but we did it. 3 bounces, not acceptable. 1 bounce, fine. 2 bounces, maybe, but not 3. But still, we didn't crash, we didn't ground loop. That wind was ridiculous. So, given the conditions, I am super happy with that landing. Holy cow, I don't know where parking is though. So let's hop out here, take the drone quick while the plane flies itself. And we're gonna go back over there, I guess. Okay. Wow, that was difficult. So I put flaps up already, and I didn't crash. I held the wheel or the yoke all the way back so that it wouldn't prop strike. Oh man. Whoop, 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 whoop. Let's not tip over. Yikes. Anyway, that was crazy difficult. I'm so proud of that landing. Oh my word. Okay, anyway, enough of that. Let's go back to parking here and check things out while we're here because other planes want to land. Although I do have a rule where traffic turned on and nothing else is landing right now, so that's fine, I guess. But yeah, I had full right rudder and it still wasn't enough. And I had the wing down, which was almost enough. But man, we bounced a lot. Could have been the wind probably, but we made it. Whatever. Secret Service is here to check us out. Let's see, where is the taxiway? I have full left rudder just to go straight. That's how windy it is right now. See, these are things you can't see, but holy cow. Let's see if I can go. I use differential braking because rudders aren't working enough. Differential braking, yes, okay, barely. There we go. Whoa, there it kicked in. Wow. Even the ground operations. It looks smooth to you, whatever. But even these ground operations are incredibly difficult right now with this wind. But hey, makes it all the more interesting. Well, I'm tipped over, see? Which has happened. We have had it be so windy, it lifts the wing, and then it flips us over. But hopefully that won't happen if we can park here. Come on. Any day now. Come on, here we go. Yeah, whoa, dude, hey. Oh, that was rude. Jeez, it's like trying to drive here in Minnesota, I tell ya. Man, oh man. Alrighty. Let's park this thing right about here. Yoke back, obviously. Parking brake set. Note the time. What was it? 9:40 or something. Give or take, I guess. So, I don't know, 45 minutes or so. Right? Alright, flaps up already. Landing lights off. Nav. Oh yeah, whoops. We flashed everybody, didn't we? That's okay. We flashed everybody. Let's see. Parking brake set, props back, mixture back. Come over here and do beacon off. Seatbelt sign can come off. Meg crash bar, come over here, and battery generator crash bar. And there we go. We can open some windows now. And the trays should have been up for landing, and they were. Open the door. Hop outside. And there we are. Hopefully you enjoyed the flight. Welcome to Gibraltar, or whatever it's called. Again, that rock doesn't look that big until you look at this. That was at 15, 20 stories, 20-some stories there. Oh my gosh, that's crazy. Decent flight. The takeoff was pretty okay-ish, especially given the wind. The landing was amazing given the wind. I don't know if you would actually have flown this in real life in this airplane. It was that crazy. But we did it. Look at the storms over there. Anyway, from Spain to kind of Spain, British territory, beautiful airport, custom. I believe this is a custom city and custom airport from one of the world updates. Cruise ship, very cool. Can you imagine living here? Maybe it's not that exciting. I don't know. Maybe it is. Who knows? Anyway, hope you enjoyed it. Like, subscribe, notifications turned on, all that stuff. And that's it for me. I'll see you next time.